Good morning, everyone. It's time for our next session on Beyond Happiness. Let me explain something to you for a minute. Last weekend, there was a march, right? Black Lives Matter march. And some of you who are subscribers to my channel were either there or followed it. And it was an example, I think, the aftermath, the planning aftermath, and of course what goes on from today onwards, which is, of course, aftermath, can help me illustrate the effects or the implications of the techniques I mentioned before about spiritual, mental, and financial peace, but at the same time about that whole ecosphere. Okay, a march or any sort of social activity, whether you're going to play tennis or going to march down the street, uses resources or uses aspects of any ecosphere you have. The people, the resources like the actual tennis court itself, money to buy equipment, all of these things are part of your ecosphere. Organizing a march, and this is something I just like for those of you who are wondering what happens next to sort of keep in mind, because what happens next is based on you and your use of your ecosphere. Planning a march, there's things like press, there are allies, there are enemies, people on the sidelines, the internet, newspapers, businesses, lots of these things in the ecosphere. Some of these things in the ecosphere can help you and some can hurt you. But to be perfectly honest, all of them can help you if you understand the ecosphere. You understand what's coming in on the wind. You understand what type of sunlight you're going to get today. You know, what is the pollen rates, just understanding that ecosphere and being able to leverage that. Now that the march has happened, people like my friend Baye, who in his ecosphere is NHK, came to him and, they're engaging him. Companies, businesses are engaging people. Your enemies are obviously on the news, engaging people, etc. But if you know your ecosphere, you can leverage even negativity. If you're preparing, but you don't, for like a tennis match, going to go play tennis, and you're not aware of what the weather is. You know what I mean? So you can bring the proper equipment to deal with the weather, whether it's heat, therefore you need, sunscreen and hats and water, or if it's going to rain, bring umbrellas or, reserve an indoor court. These are fundamentals of any activity you're doing and fundamentals of, in the aftermath of this march, what happens next. Leverage your ecosphere. Right. Take the news, especially if it's positive, share it with your colleagues. They're part of your ecosphere. Support, donate, and just be mindful of things in the future so they can support and be on your side when things go wrong again, which they inevitably will in life. As well as, now that there's in your ecosphere, maybe people are more interested or more have an ear open to certain issues. You can start to talk to them, engage them on topics you never did before. Leverage that ecosphere. That's how this ecosphere thing works. It's not about, okay, well, there's a resource over there in the corner. Let me take it and use it. No, it's not, and I think with the rose example, you may have gotten the impression I'm talking about. Use the sunlight, use the rain. Yeah, but we're not roses. We can move and articulate and all that type of thing. So it's not only physically using those resources, but also leveraging them, understanding how those resources work. It's like planting the rose. You plant the rose in a certain season, knowing how much rain will be coming, how much wind will be coming. Plant your seed in a hospitable environment all around. So you plant your seeds of ideas, concepts, yourself in the proper environment. So for instance, if you want to be an artist or you want to start a business or you want to get a job, right? You may think, okay, well, I'm going to apply for everything, which is good. Apply. I'm going to ask people for jobs. Okay, fine. But there's other aspects of your ecosphere. You don't even need to ask for a job. You can talk to people to get knowledge, insight that can help you somewhere down the road. It's not only about saying, well, I have this person over there who's rich. Let me get money for them to help invest in my business. Or there's someone over there who knows how to make, web videos. Let me go grab them and have them help me. Yeah, I mean, that could possibly happen. But if you reach out to someone out of the blue, for something you want, it just makes you appear selfish, potentially. Not always, but potentially. So what you want to do is understand your ecosphere, meaning understand that person. What are they looking for? What are their goals? See if you can help facilitate their success, or even so much as even listen to them, but bring them into your ecosphere. Understand, when does the wind blow? When does the sun come out? When does the rain fall? What rocks are in the soil, meaning what rocks are in that person's mind, what issues they may have, what things trigger them. Understand them. So you understand your environment, your ecosphere, and leverage that. That is the fundamental beginnings of mental, let's say mental, maybe not spiritual, but mental peace of mind. By understanding everything that's around you, things stop becoming random all of a sudden. You stop getting surprised by the behaviors of people because you've spent your time understanding your sphere. And meditation is one way people do that. They quiet their mind so they can really see what's going on, because your own desire can blind you. And I'll leave you with this example. But remember, understand your ecosphere, understand the people around you. And in the end, what'll happen is people will start to feel like this person sees me, this person recognizes who I am. And that's a benefit in and of itself. When the time comes, you need to ask for a favor, or you need for someone to respect you. You spent your time respecting others, it'll work. So let me leave you with a story. I was talking to my wife on Thursday about the march, and I really wanted to march in the Black Lives Matter march. But I couldn't for various reasons. One, surprisingly enough, this whole entire situation in the world has gotten me triggered. COVID, protest, etc. I'm angry. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very angry. So she was worried I'd be triggered, even in a peaceful march, because I'm just, I've been spending a lot of time helping, and the frustration builds. It really does. But in my mind, I had to march. I had to. If I wasn't, I was ignoring my duty as a social leader, my duty as an African American, and my duty as someone who has always tried his best. Tried being the operative word. Tried my best to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. So march. And she was explaining to me, not the risk per se, but the potential issues, particularly around my own state of mind at the time. And I couldn't hear her. I didn't hear it. I heard a partner of mine telling me not to march. I was getting upset. I was getting quite angry. And then I got a piece of good news on Friday, which I can't share with you because it hasn't been released to the press yet. But when it is, I will share with all of you. But a piece of news came to me on Friday that I also meant I could not march. It wasn't something I could do. It's not. You'll hear about this soon. Good news. And my brain was just, like, oh, I've got to do it. But I spent some time thinking, practicing these techniques. And I said, let me understand my ecosphere, right? If I don't march, what could happen? If I do march, what could happen? And what comes down to is my ecosphere. The march is one of the things in my ecosphere. To use that doesn't mean I have to be in it. I can support the people in it. I can watch it. I can observe it. I can get the message out. I don't need to be in it. But I could not see myself not in it. Your brain and how you see the world is going to make you feel a certain way. Maybe not wrong, but a certain way. And it's hard to get over that. So when it comes to how do I use these resources? How do I leverage them? And it's unclear to you how to do it. It's hard. It's not easy. But look at your research, found out other ways you can leverage those resources around you. And I figured out a way to do it. And I've supported everyone who I know who went, got the message out. I had a conversation with a very conservative Japanese friend in Japanese about not only that, but many things. But I've known him for 20 years, 22 years or so. It was a moment where he said to me in very strong Kansai Ben, this thing was happening. I didn't understand why these black people were so upset or what's going on. But I said, I have to ask Henry. And at the end of the conversation, he sort of got it. And we were both on the side of not trusting the man. We're not still the same, so to speak. But he was open. The march created an ecosphere. People thinking, discussing, angry, etc. Leverage your environment. We'll practice that technique later. But I thought in the wake of the march, I had to get a message out there. If everyone could do it, everyone would be happy. It is hard. And you have to question what you feel about yourself, who you are, and what is your environment and what you can leverage from that environment. It takes practice. You can do it. Look around this week at your ecosphere and see what's in your ecosphere and what you can do to leverage, your ecosphere in your daily life. With that, I'll let you go. Have a great week. Bye.